Hello, welcome to Koval Distillery. We are in Ravenswood right now, just south of Montrose, at our new facility that we moved into last summer in 2012. So here at Koval we make a lot of whiskeys, liqueurs, a couple brandies. We have one little vodka. So we've been open since about 2008. We're owned by a lovely couple named Robert and Sonnet Biernecker. And Robert was actually born and raised in Austria and grew up distilling with his grandfather. Mainly on fruit wines and brandies was what his grandfather made. It's much more common in that area of the world to use the fruits from your own orchard, the grains from your own farm, and to have somebody in the family who is a distiller. So it was in Robert's blood, and they moved here to Chicago in 2007 with his wife Sonnet, who is actually a native of Chicago, born and raised here in the city, and decided to open up this lovely distillery. So everything we make here is organic and kosher too. We're using all regionally sourced grains from the Midwest. It's a great place to be a distiller or a brewer because we're surrounded by grains of all sorts. And here at Koval we do things a little bit differently. So we're not just using your typical wheat, rye, corn, and barley are the things you'll most often find in whiskey. We use those grains, but we actually also distill from oats, millet, and spelt, which you can also find in the Midwest, much to some people's surprise. We're going to take a little tour of the space here. Behind me you'll see our big copper pot still. It's a 2,000 liter still that's made in Germany and was shipped to us in pieces, kind of. Robert is actually a consultant for the Kota company that makes this still, and has actually helped about 30 distilleries start up all across the United States, all the way from Washington all the way down to Louisiana, North Carolina, Vermont, New York, California. He's been all over the place. So he knows quite a bit about how the stills work, and ours is a particularly unique setup. We have a big pot still with a helmet that helps us develop a lot of flavor in the tall helmet portion of the still. It's meant to emulate that of the original alembic pot still. And then behind me here you'll see two tall columns. So the column still was an invention that actually didn't come about until almost the mid-19th century. It was quite an innovation in still technology because it took what the pot can only do once and basically stacked a bunch of those on top of one another. In the column we have a number of plates, and each plate is almost like a mini distillation unto itself. It increases the proof kind of tri-fold. So once our spirit reaches the top of that column and comes off our condenser, which is what cools these really hot vapors that have traveled through the still, these alcoholic vapors, we have a very clean, very high-proof distillate that is made from any variety of our grains that we use here at Koval, which we're then turning into, in some cases, a white, unaged whiskey, and then we're barreling quite a bit of it these days. It's tough to keep up with the demand for aged whiskeys, and also sometimes redistilling those to use them as a base for our organic liqueurs that we make here at Koval as well. So that's a little bit about the still. It's all copper on the inside, so it's an expensive little guy, but the copper actually reacts with those alcoholic vapors in such a way that actually enhances flavor, whereas other metals don't offer that kind of flavor enhancement. So we're still using it today for those reasons.